In this video, we're once again looking at the volume relative strength indicator, which I'm delighted to say is now available for both MT4 and MT5. And in this case, we're on MT4. And I've taken a very simple example, 4 charts here. They're all the same time frame. That's on 5 minute. And to demonstrate that the indicator can be applied to really any instrument in any market in any time frame. And I've just chosen 4 here. We're on 5 minute time frame. Top left, I've got cable. So we've got a currency there. Top right, I've got gold. Bottom left is a UK stock, and bottom right is a US stock. And if you've watched the introductory videos, you'll know that there are 3 primary components that we look at with the volume relative strength indicator. The first is whether we are in bullish or bearish territory. In other words, whether the pressure bars, that we call them, are above the fulcrum line, in which case we're in bullish mode, or are they below, in which case we're in bearish mode. Very intuitive, obviously. The second is to look at the color. Where we see strong color, that is signaling strength. And where we see a lighter color, that is signaling that a strength is perhaps weakening a little bit. And third and last, we look at the height, and that's the key area. We look at the height of that volume bar, which signals pressure. And if we've got rising bars, in exactly the same way as we do with our base methodology, which is volume price analysis, if we are seeing an uptrend and we are seeing rising price coupled with rising volume, that is giving us a strong signal that this trend has momentum, it has strength. And that's why we refer to the VRSI using pressure all the time, because what we want to see in a move is the relative volume increasing in pressure, increasing the strength of that trend. Because when we're in a trend, one of the hardest things to do is maintain a position in the trend. And we have a couple of indicators that do that for us. We have the trend monitor and we've got the trend indicator. And the VRSI indicator does it in exactly the same way as well. And it does it by indicating in a very graphical way the pressure within the trend. In other words, is that bullish sentiment strong and rising? Have we got strong sentiment in the trend we're trading? And when that perhaps weakens a little bit, we want to be able to see intuitively whether we are going to continue holding that trend. In other words, whilst the sentiment may have diminished, it hasn't gone into bearish territory, so it's giving us confidence to hold that position in the trend. Or indeed, equally, if it does revert back to the fulcrum and ultimately move through to bearish, that's potentially giving us an opportunity to say, okay, it's time to close out. But all of it is governed by our analysis of the height of the bars and the color of the bars and the relationship to the price action that we're looking at on the screen. And you can really see that many different examples here. For example, bottom left, we have the UK stock, which rose continuously throughout the session. And throughout that period, the VRSI indicator didn't vary at all. In fact, it only blipped marginally below the fulcrum on a couple of occasions there. Very, very small bars, really suggesting that this any extension of that bearish sentiment that was evident at that point really didn't develop into anything significant, and we reverted back to bullish again. And that's a great confidence builder if we're holding that trend. It's a great way to view the trend very graphically and to help to keep us in the trend, which is very, very hard to do when our instinct and our natural instinct is to take our profit once we start to see that sentiment diminish and perhaps revert into a bearish phase. But throughout that, we saw that, and towards the end of that, we saw rising pressure, and that's accompanying the steepening of that trend, as you can see there. So not only are we seeing bullish sentiment throughout, towards the end of that trend, we see that sentiment increase purely by virtue of the height of those bars. In other words, increasing pressure. Exactly the same on the right-hand side. This is to the downside now. We're in blue territory here. We've got bright blue and slightly lighter blue colors to indicate a weakening where it appears. And you can see they're in the downtrend, very strong throughout. Again, some minor incursion into the bullish territory on a couple of occasions, but nothing that developed very strongly, very small bars. And the bearish sentiment picked up again, a nice strong trend there throughout. And even in those little reversal periods, you can see how the height of those bars, it does weaken and the color changes to the lighter color as we expect. But then it picks up as the price action develops and we see widening spreads, which is what we want to see in a downtrend. And the sentiment, the pressure in that trend develops into a nice strong trend and a continuation, which is great. And then towards the end, we see those bars changing color, getting smaller, moving back to our fulcrum, and the little uptrend there, the bullish trend developing, but not in any great way because the height of the bars is relatively low. And you can see a similar thing on the gold chart immediately above it, there in the middle, where we had a period of sideways congestion. There was weakness there, but it was very mild, and you can see that denoted by the height of those little blue bars. Really nothing to mention. And it was really only we got towards the right-hand side of the chart that we see that strength develop purely by virtue of the height of the bars associated with the downwards price action. So there we go. That's the VRSI for MT4 across various timeframes and across all the markets, whether you're trading currencies, commodities, stocks, futures, indices, cryptocurrencies even. I've not put it on here, but it works perfectly well with cryptocurrencies as well. It'll work in all your timeframes. And as I say, using it in multiple timeframes is an excellent way to use it also. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. See you soon and bye for now.